Welcome everyone to another interesting episode. And I would like to introduce my guest today. So I have R Dharma or Dr. Rashmi with me. And I'll ask interesting questions around that spiritual name of yours and your history with this interesting space of Reiki, energy, healing, and all of that. So, Dr. Rashmi, can I call you Dr. Rashmi for the introduction at least?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so yeah, so Dr. Rashmi is one of the earliest practitioners of Reiki in Bangalore. So, and she's worked with more than 10,000 plus people she initiated into Reiki, and I think if I get the numbers right, somewhere around 4,000 ish in terms of they becoming masters of Reiki. And I also heard saw something interesting. You're Miss Bangalore in your early 90s somewhere. So
Yes.
I think I'll also touch upon that. So it's I can post this podcast and saying I've had a Miss Bangalore on my podcast.
Now it's the inner beauty.
Absolutely, I think that is true. So thank you so much for coming on board and giving our listeners, our viewers, a very interesting experience, which I'm sure there is. And the first questions in terms of my own interest was, when one of my cousins put me in touch with you and said, no, there's a person, she does Reiki, and I was like, oh, Reiki, that looks very interesting. I've never had somebody with that background come on board. Maybe not even get in touch. Maybe this you're the first person I am talking to who has a background of Reiki. And I'm very sure that it's the case with my listeners, or maybe it's not the case also. So either ways, it's going to be an interesting thing to listen from you. And yeah, I already sense that nice energy coming from you all the way from Mumbai.
Thank you for being such a good receiver. The
Ab-
allowingness is absolutely yours, Sunil, and thank you for this opportunity. I hope that I will bring something really memorable. We are leading our lives making memories. This is what I always go about doing my work, with those aha moments in mind. Wherever I have those aha moments, that's what I want to share with everyone. And thank you for this platform. Thank you so much. And yeah, Spurti, love her. Love you so much. Yes.
yes. Our thanks in regards to Spooty. Thank you for introducing us. So, if you had to give me and my listeners, an
Yes.
introduction that's easy for them to digest in terms of what Reiki is.
I'll do that. But what I'll do, Sunil, is I like to start with a gratitude prayer. Somehow, over the years of being on this planet, seeing 66 summers, right now it's summer, so I can say summers, is that gratitude is the key to all, call it the treasure house of whatever we are looking for, be it peace, be it bonding and friendships, or health, for instance. Right now, we are really looking at that. So, gratitude. Uh, if it's okay with you, would you like to just close your eyes while I read a small, short
Absolutely.
gratitude prayer? Because
Sure.
without that, I think I'll feel very incomplete at the way we start. All right.
Absolutely.
Yes, so here we go. Deep at the center of my being, there is an infinite well of gratitude. I now allow this gratitude to fill my heart, my body, my mind, my consciousness, my very being. This gratitude radiates out from me in all directions, touching everything in my world, and returns to me as more to be grateful for. The more gratitude I feel, the more I am aware that the supply is endless. The use of gratitude makes me feel good. It is an expression of my inner joy. I'm grateful for myself and for my body. I'm grateful for my ability to see and hear, feel and taste and touch. I'm grateful for my home, and I take loving care of it. I'm grateful for my family and friends, and I rejoice in their company. I'm grateful for my work, and I give it my best at all times. I'm grateful for my talents and abilities, and I continually express them in ways that are fulfilling. I'm grateful for my income, and I know that I prosper wherever I turn. I'm grateful for all my past experiences, for I know that they were part of my soul's growth. I'm grateful for all of nature, and I am respectful of every living thing. I'm grateful for today, and I'm grateful for the tomorrows to come. I'm grateful for life now and forevermore. Amen. I'd like you to just keep your eyes closed a minute or two. I want you to get a taste of what it is like to feel, if in fact our audiences too. We all feel energies. We all know through quantum physics that everything on the planet is energy, it's atom. But to be able to sense, feel, and experience, I want to give a short experience of that. So let me just begin by asking you to sit comfortably. Move your body slightly forward so that your spinal cord is relaxed yet balanced. Now I want you to take normal breaths. Just don't do anything to your breath as yet. In and out. Just make sure we are undisturbed. You're relaxing with every in-breath, natural and normal. Now, for just 3 breaths, take a slow, deep breath in, right into your belly. With the in-breath, see your belly fill, rise. And then as you exhale, empty your belly completely. Just do this twice more. Good. Now, I want you to imagine a bubble of energy around you. Just a balloon, a ball, or a bubble. And then fill your bubble with your color, which could be gold, white, or blue, the color of your choice. Fill your bubble with the color of your choice and extend it out to about 2 feet around you. Keep breathing normally and easily. Just make sure that it is above your head and under your feet. So a nice large bubble, gold, white, or blue, above your head and under your feet. You're still breathing naturally and easily. A helpful image could be to visualize your body as the yolk of an egg and the bubble being the white, the protective layer being the shell. Continue breathing. Feel this fully. You can make the shell thicker to increase your protection, if you will. Continue breathing. Slow, natural breaths in and out. Now, I want you to visualize, imagine, or then simply declare it is so, that your bubble is expanding and contracting with your breath. Good. In, expansion, out, contraction. Now, you could hold this practice at any time of day or night. But for today, I'd like to put in a small affirmation. It's a beautiful way to protect yourself and also not cut you off from life's experiences. It's almost like wearing a raincoat. to cut yourself off from the rain, but yet experience the weather. Lovely. You could say after me 3 times mentally. Because in the core of my being, I am rich and wealthy. I experience richness and wealth. Because in the core of my being, I am rich and wealthy. I experience richness and wealth. Because in the core of my being, I am a rich and wealthy person. I experience richness and wealth. So it is, so be it. Relax your breathing. In your own pace and time, wrap the palms of your hands together. Place them on your eyes. Slowly, with a smile, come back into the
Thank you. That was
and
interesting.
welcome.
It's a nice way to kick off the whole space.
Yes, yes. Isn't that beautiful? So that's what the mind can do, and that's what energy can do. Coming back to your question, let me start on how I got into it. So the existential questions of who am I, what am I doing, why do people, so this started with the passing on of my father. I was a daddy's girl. And it took me about a year to come to, should I call it make peace with the event, make peace with it. In that 1 year, what I now call the cocoon phase. That time I thought I was going into a depression, but in hindsight, I realized that the earth-shattering experience that I had, also like a gift that my father left for me, gift that the ancestors give to us by their passing, is to get us to finally, eventually, reach what is your purpose on earth. And between the in-breath and the out-breath, so we can call it destiny, right? If for the lack of a better word, and very much used also, this is your destiny. But what I realized, or what I was seeking the answers for, is what is this whole free will then all about? Yeah. So then it's not like I've discovered that or I've got my answer. There's always work in progress. But I reached a certain point where I was ready to attract this very formalized modality called Reiki, which I, and but my question was, if there is no such thing as free will, then what are we doing here? Then what do psychologists tell us? And what is it that, even our scriptures tell us? Do your work, do it well, put your all into it. You know, our in the corporates also, we are told to put in our 100%, yeah, and become achievers. So that's how we've been programmed, that achievement is on the outside. Now with the crash in my life, I found that in a way, I found myself totally life being meaningless. There was nobody to, to validate my experiences, nobody to say, good work done, my dear daughter, no one to look up to, no one to prove anything to. He was a great achiever. So there was always this rush, am I good enough? Am I good enough? And with his passing, it was like, now what? There's nothing for me to do. So that's pretty much a point of breakdown. And the breakthrough was that it's not about doing anything. It's about who you are as a being. Now, the because I took 1 year, I was looking for something, that time you do a little bit of guru shopping, and then you do, witch hunting, and then you do a little bit of whatever somebody says, okay, eat this, maybe this is good for you, or drink that, that is good for you, or just be happy, think positive. I mean, none of it was really, really sinking in, because that was very, very superficial. And it was only in the introduction to Reiki by a grandmaster called Dr. Paula Horan. By her introduction to Reiki, the mysticism of life itself, at least that, taste of it, the seeking element came up. So if I'm a caterpillar, I just simply understood that I will have to, in order to become a butterfly, be an achiever or whatever it is, whatever your goals are in life, I have to go through the cocoon phase. Have to. There is no shortcut to it. And for that, I thought, because I generally use the word, we use these words, I don't vibrate with you, I don't gel with you, and all of that. So this was, it all just came back saying, I mean, how frivolously we've used these words, but they're actually, we are like radio sets picking up signals, giving out signals, and that's all that we are. That's all there is to it. And how serious we've taken life to be. And maybe the name of the game is to make sure that the signals are going accurately, appropriately, and purely. Yeah. So to purify your actions, your deeds, and then see within that framework of destiny, your free will would be the path you choose in order to fulfill what is destined for you. And if I may say, I think that would be a very, very out there statement, but I'll say it anyway, because that's me. Probably you'll remember me with this. So like we have a seed which we plant, and it grows into a beautiful large tree. Look at the precision in nature. The seed, that little one, is coded so beautifully. You can never get a mango tree out of an apple seed. You will get the texture, the flavor, the fragrance, the color, and everything that is coded in that little seed. Look at, I mean, just look at that precision. Now, if what I did to make myself understand what really I'm going to be doing henceforth is that I thought to myself, okay, we are not taking religion here. We're not taking any spiritual philosophies or thoughts in whether there was a past life or there isn't. We're not touching there. I'm coming to this point, how I made myself understand is that we have a seed or we have a code. We come coded as well. Doesn't matter from where it got coded. We'll just simply put it, our ancestors, the DNA and the RNA and everything, we come with a code. Now, how do you access that information? That information is what we call the Brahmagyan, the knowledge, the all-knowing. Yeah. And how do we get there? So the steps we take in order to get there, that should be, according to Maslow's triangle, is self-discovery. How do you discover the whole of you? We are acting and moving only according to the little discoveries that we make. Okay, I know this, I don't know this, so I can learn it. But what about that gray area, which is I don't know that I don't know.
Don't know.
Right? So that code, I was determined to touch. And I said somewhere, the purpose of life, what you now very flowery, ikigai, what is called. But I did want to know, what the hell am I doing here? I mean, my father was there one day and he's not there the next day. So, and I didn't go with him, right? So obviously we all come alone and we go alone. So that much I understood what philosophy tells us. Now, what am I going to be doing between my in-breath and my out-breath? The quality of my life, how is it going to be to celebrate my father's death? At that time, it was very personal. Now, of course, it's become global. But that was my starting point. He did not die in vain. He has left a gift for me. And now I have to see it. I have to touch it. And then I'm going to be putting it all out and giving it back to the universe. How much, Sunil, we take from the planet?
Oh,
When are we going to give anything back? If nothing else, okay, noise pollution, carbon pollution and everything, but what is actually the worst of it is thought pollution. Thought pollution. So there's got to be a way. And of course, I had read a lot about and heard a lot about yoga, meditations. I also did the initiation into transcendental meditation. Okay, so all good. Now, all of these things I practice gives me the benefit, right? And when I get the benefit, I can share the benefit, but I cannot teach you. I cannot simultaneously have you experience what I am experiencing. So the law that is Advaita, which says we are one, is an experience. It should not remain only as theory. And Reiki initiation, once I started to work. I had the first Reiki clinic, which was in Bangalore. Some of my articles, which you have read, are my interviews at that time, because it was very new. And the experiment, let me call it experimentation for just simply the lack of another word. How is it that when we know that energy is passed every time we are talking, we are always exchanging energy between human beings and between nature and us, the creatures of nature. Finally, I ended up doing animal communication as well. So I really tried and tested out even telepathic communication to animals who cannot actually verbalize. But you simply get that, they tell you what they're going through. They tell you exactly how they feel. And of course, people have progressed talking to, plants and stones and rock and water and everything. So how difficult is it to understand that the name of the game is to have a quality life simply because it is a gift to you, which during the COVID times, we realized how fragile it is.
absolutely.
Right. So Reiki is it's a technique of energy work, pretty much like yoga, Tai Chi, pranayama, any other body movement work, breath work, even dancing, for example, belly dancing, and all of these, they all intend to regulate and to finer tune our energy centers. Those are the antennas that connects us with our environment. So we collapse atom, we have the physical body, the stula sharira, the physical body, then you have the mental, you have the emotional, you have financial and spiritual. And as the WHO has declared, health to be not absence of disease, but a sense of well-being. So now let's talk about how do we restore. When we were born, we were pretty much all well-being, well and beings. Now somewhere we became unwell doings. Now we've got to, reset. Yeah, we've got to just put ourselves on that reset mode. So again, becoming natural. So Reiki is a natural healing technique. The godfather of or the founder of Reiki was a Japanese philosopher and a doctor. The combination of the yogic sciences, of the Christian philosophies, and of the Buddhist healing techniques is what makes Reiki a modality today. Reiki means prana, Shakti, cosmic energy, biomagnetic or bioplasmic energy, chi, ki, it all is, that's what the life, the vital life force. In Japanese language, it's called Reiki. Now, to channelize the energy is what there are almost 130 methods to channelize energy, whether it's positive thinking, it's affirmations, it's yoga. There are about 50 meditations. You have spiritual techniques like chanting, reading. You also have your dances and everything. The USP of Reiki, of this particular modality, is that a qualified Reiki Grandmaster finer tunes your antennas, a procedure that could take anything between 15 to 20 minutes. It's a technique which is applied. And thereafter, you become a conduit of the vital life force energy. You're drawing it anyways. That's how we are alive. We are just finer tuning the antennas to the frequency so that we become a channel. Pretty much like you have an overhead tank. You commission one main pipe that comes in, that's the Reiki channel. And then you have that tributaries going into taps into different rooms of your home, kitchen and everything. Those are the output points, which in Reiki become your palms.
Okay.
So it is 130 healing techniques, for which the USP is that you undergo what we call an initiation process or a attunement or a finer tuning process, after which the Reiki channeling is absolutely automatic. Very much, electrician comes and joins two wires, he puts a switch there, and the bulb can be in any room. Actually, I'll tell you a secret.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we are glorified electricians.
So we bringing the electricity and helping it switch on, switch on.
We just call ourselves Reiki Grandmasters. We are just nothing but glorified electricians. So once this connect is made because of the tuning, the channel is formed, the output is your palm. You place your palm anywhere in the body, the energy flows automatically, simply like you put on the switch, the light bulb comes on. You don't have to do any invocation, meditation, prayer, oh light, please do come. The electrician has done it. You just have to go and put on the light, switch the switch on. Similarly, all we need to do is keep our hand on our body and it is automated. So whether we are traveling, we are watching TV, we are having a live conversation, we are having a stroll, you're doing your other exercises, but your hand is on your body, Reiki will continuously, automatically flow, which is why it has gained so much popularity. Children from 8, or should I say, big people at the age of 8 and children of 80 all do Reiki.
Yes, amazing.
It's the simplicity, and it's as profound as yoga, as profound as meditations, as profound as any spiritual technology. This is what has made it easy, and for which we can't thank our Grandmaster, Dr. Mikao Usui, enough, that he brought it down. You know how Japanese are good with technologies, how he made it into a technology and passed it down, that today sitting in our living room, just with a Grandmaster. And since I have learned the technique of astral travel, I do the transferring of the initiation through distance as well. Otherwise, it's like a Grandmaster just applies the technique on you, and after that, you're like good to go. And you don't need boosters, you don't need booster shots. So the practice of Reiki, I'll give you the benefits. The first one is relaxation. The second is detoxification. And the third is rejuvenation. So what we have noticed, we've had feedback, I've done my own practice, and what we find is the benefits of Reiki. Let me just list them out for you quickly. The first being relaxation, second being detoxification, and then rejuvenation. Now, when I say this begins from day one. The day you get yourself initiated into this frequency of Reiki, into the frequency of the vital life force, immediately the effects start to show with your practice. You keep practicing that much of in-depth, layer by layer, you're able to relax, detoxify, rejuvenate. So we have several grades in Reiki, or levels. The first one generally attempts to get you your vitality at the physical level. So each and every organ goes through its relaxation, it goes through its detoxification, all the chemical deposits, all of the energy rivers that have got blocked. So that is the attempt, result being more physical. Then when we do the second level, which is the actual technology of Reiki is passed on to you, with that we find the mental emotional energy, or should we call it rejuvenation, all of that. Now what we are looking at, the larger picture, right? The larger picture of doing any energy work, or should I call it self-work, or the self journey, self-help techniques, any of these, they make you resilient. So being told that you have to be positive all the time, you have to be good all the time, you should be a good person. No, no, no. That's not what the universal energy says to you, or not is it natural to be that. So when you practice energy work or body work, what you get out of it is what we call resilience, but to be specific, to be okay with not being okay.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. To be like we've always been told to be okay, to be okay, and okay not to be.
Yes.
It's very
Yes.
it
Then
gets
moment
me.
we find there is a turbulence in our life, then there is panic, there is anxiety, because the programming is that how can this happen to me? Or how could this relationship break down? Because I did so much for this person. How could he let me down? You see, the expectations bring about disaster in our lives. And our expectations are programmed. You see a baby or a child, when something, water spills, or a toy breaks, it's the mother and father who go on and on. Oh my God, did you get hurt? Oh, it's so expensive. Oh, somebody gave it to me. You should not have done this. Is that the baby's response? You look at it for a little while and just move on. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because that ability to move on is natural. The thing that we do is that we've got stuck there. I'll give you another example. I love this example. Again, I mean, it must be very cliche. You must have heard it before. So when you go to see a movie, okay, I mean, not now, but in the days when there were movies being projected on a screen, right? Okay, that projector would go bzzz, and then you would see the screen. Okay, now the white screen, there's a movie being projected on it. What if that white screen suddenly liked one scene and said, now stop here. I want to just be with this scene. Would any of us get to see the end of that movie?
Not really.
That's how ridiculous it is. Easier said than done. We as coaches, I know we would like our, the people who are being coached to actually move on, not get stuck. But it may be easier said than done. But then the point here is how resilient you are. How much is it okay to be not okay? And how to move, having not forgive, forget. That's very cliche. You may want to forgive, because that's something that we should do. Otherwise, it has a hook. But if you forget the incidents, then you're likely to make the same mistake. So forgive the person. Maybe even if you want, don't block him out of your social media if you like. That's all we can do. But don't forget what actually caused that misery for you, because you're likely to do it again. And to bounce back, there will be a scar. So give yourself Reiki so that your scars are removed and you are healed. Now, heal comes from the Latin word whole or holy. So when you say so-and-so is a holy person, you generally look at them as saying, oh, he's a very pure human being, right? We generally say that. So purity comes with purity of thought. To purify yourself, you need to see all of this. Let me call it, I know I'm doing it for Janta, but I call it poop. So physical poop comes out through the excretory system. Mental and emotional poop needs to come out. And that is what is being breathed out by your energy bodies.
Mm.
We're not supposed to have anything stuck at the energy body level. We're supposed to have everything come out. And that is what is being breathed out by your energy bodies. We're not supposed to have anything stuck at the energy body level. We're not supposed to have anything stuck at the energy body level. We're not supposed to have anything stuck at the energy body level. that is at the chakra level. So Reiki is based completely on our Eastern philosophy of the chakra system. The chakras being your antennas, and once they are finer tuned, they draw in the life force energy, appropriate, clean, clear. They distribute it into your body, in and around your body, and breathe out all this poof. Detoxify. For us to fill our cup, we must empty it. And that's an ongoing process. If you keep your chakras healthy, that's what is going to keep on happening. You don't have to apply your mind at all. You'll be, in fact, you'll be doing more efficient work on the outside the more you are in touch with the power from within you. Then there are no power struggles. Awesome.
Yes. So very interesting. So I have a very long list of questions in my head coming through. I think when you start with that gratitude prayer, one of the things that came to me, I think, was a poem that I read in terms of how much my tea is coming from. My tea is actually coming from Assam. The water is coming from somewhere else. It's rained somewhere. It's got collected somewhere. It's come here somewhere. Somebody's basically brought that particular structure from one place to another. There's whole lot of travel, and finally
Yes.
having that tea, it's almost as if the universe is coming to you and saying you're tasting the energy of the universe. So
Yes.
a similar space when you put me into that gratitude space. For us to be where we are, there needs to be so much of things that have flown. And I think also for me, it was interesting to see that whole space of the emotional, but the structures around holding certain energies and emotions. And also, I think for me, the electronics engineer in me is like, oh, I know what you're speaking about.
Yes. I'm so happy.
Yeah. So, and
Yes.
interestingly, you said astro travel, and I was very curious with that. So what's that?
Astral travel is actually we all do it, part of our sleep pattern, which is sometimes you notice that if somebody wakes you up suddenly, you're not able to exactly come back and say yes. You feel that there is a little lapse, orientation time you need. It happens sometimes. We feel that we were dreaming, so that's why, but that's actually what we've done. I think it's about 20% of our sleep time, we are having these, should I call it, outer body experiences. We don't recall, we don't remember, and generally they flow into the dream state and then we go into deep sleep. So by the time we wake up, that's a natural, buffer that we have. Otherwise, if we remembered everything we dreamt, everything that happened, we'd be insane. So yeah, there's a technique which I learned from a Tibetan Buddhist teacher. And I use that for the attunements. And I used to do that even earlier, the long distance attunements for cancer patients or their caregivers who could not actually come and learn Reiki when it was being done in a seminar hall or at a venue. So now after COVID, I made it the new normal. So, and I take my classes one-on-one, which gives me the learning, the scope of also my own spiritual growth. Whereas when you do it offline, it's like you hire a hall, so you have to have a bunch of 20 people. Without that, it's not viable. So, I mean, we are existing in the three-dimensional reality. All of these things we need to take into consideration. So now I find at this point in my life, I want to add value to people who are truly, sincerely seeking it.
Mm-hmm.
Times that when we started, it was all very new. So we were almost like bringing awareness more than doing anything else. We were, people were experiencing, we had meetings every week and we met a lot more people. We gathered a lot of information. My clinic was running. All that is there. But now I think we have matured. There are a lot of modalities that are out there, and those who are practitioners have realized that it's now time for each of us also, as we hold space for others, to also walk our own journey inward. Yeah. And with the grace of divine, and of course, all my, I had called them my, my soul tribe. My students, I call them my soul tribe. We've supported each other to recognize our purpose, and which is, of course, sharing the knowledge of Reiki being my, what I've dedicated my life to. But I find this creative visualization, which I did with you, a very powerful tool. I've been gifted with a voice that, gives that energy. So I want to definitely, and I've been putting this out for several years now. I've done a lot of creative visualizations. Recently, my admin has started recording them, and she said she probably saw there were more gray hair than black. So she said, I might have better been recording. So I told her I'd like to be remembered by my voice. So she's been doing some recordings. But this is what I offer, and I want to put it out there. And I'd be very, very glad, very blessed to hold hands with seekers, and we can walk together. There is no leader, there is no teacher here. We're just the soul tribe. Yes, we must recall that that we belong, and we are holding the space for the planet and for the children to come. So let's not cause any more thought pollution, because the Siddhas are wanting to come to their planet. They are going to steer us, what with the AI. So in any case, people are not going to put their mind into too much of studies. They'll be learning life skills. Probably go back to farming and cultivating and becoming more organic. And growth itself is so organic. So nature is organic. Growth is organic. And everything is, I mean, to think of it, the birthing process itself is painful. When we are teenagers, we have different kinds of pains. When you're in love, you have it's painful, and when you're out of it, there is even more pain. So, in all of that chaos, can we still have, stay grounded and stay firm on, if the purpose is revealed to you, just keep walking no matter what. And the universe is here to support that. And that's why the gratitude.
I sense that passion, that energy, that experience of over 30 plus years in this, coming through in all the conversations that you have had so far. Another observation, maybe just on the off track. You said your the palms become radiating centers of the energy. So when we do the usual, the namaskara, the hand. So basically, when we put it like this, when you said that, and when I connected these two, is there anything
Yes.
additionally happens? Anything interesting that happens?
So yeah, so then there is this, you feel the pressure between your palms, and that's fine. I mean, this is when you're integrating the energies. And when you shake hands or when you touch another person, you're able to share that with others. Now, again, the whole thing about this is not our own energy. When you're coaching, when I was used to do counseling, from counseling, then I shifted to becoming a life coach, a transformation coach. And at present, I'm more like a spiritual strategist. When we are coaching people, we are giving our energy, knowingly, unknowingly, consciously, unconsciously, right? Because that person is on a lower frequency. To bring them to a sense of well-being, we have to fill up with our own. So most of us counselors, doctors, beauticians, all of us have found Reiki to be a tool to replenish that energy, whatever we have given. Not, of course, there's no meter here. It's not like, 10 counts gone, so only 7 have come back. No. The point is, do we have a tool to rejuvenate, to replenish, apart from sleep? Every creature on this planet sleeps. Every living thing sleeps, right? That is only to rejuvenate. So an hour of Reiki gives you 5 hours, is equivalent to 5 hours of deep sleep, which means you have more time to work. on the outside or on the inside, whatever journey you've taken on. So you can dilate time. You know, there are people who keep saying, we are so busy, we don't have time. Time can be dilated.
Yes.
You practice a rejuvenation technique and you're good to go. I mean, we go out, we do our work, we come back, give ourselves Reiki, and then we are ready for the next part of our life, of our day. It could be a party, it could be a lecture, it could be just being with family, quality time for our own family. Not coming back saying, okay, now that drama of, you know, I've done all the work, so now I have to sit back. And what is my idea of sitting back is putting on the news and having that on repeat mode. And the children or the spouse is saying whatever they're saying. We've said and heard it too.
Everything.
Yeah.
So this
Yes,
this
Pungidasa.
energy is more like, you know, how I see it. It's more like you're a transformer. So you don't create that energy, you're just accessing it, channeling it, and then moving it forward.
Yes. Replenishing whatever you're using, because in your world, you are giving and taking. But sometimes we are giving more than we are taking, and we cannot stop giving. We need not be afraid that so and so is a vampire, so and so is draining my energy. It doesn't matter. Why should we label anything? If you think you need energy, practice something. Instead of just a hot cup of coffee or a good shower, give yourself Reiki, which is more profound. It will rejuvenate right up to the cellular level. And then you're more efficient on the outside, right? So that is the thing. I find these are very commonly asked questions that, you know, why do we get tired at the end of the day? Will we get tired if we do Reiki for someone else? So that's why a few things that have been asked earlier. I just want to make it clear, not your own energy. Even if you do get tired, it's because of your emotional attachment to the result, and which is easily, replenishable. It's like your car is going out of petrol. You don't panic, right? You just reach a petrol pump and maximum take a rig, go get the petrol and put it in. You don't need to panic, right?
No need to. That is a very nice example, saying, hey, your car, your petrol, and then you just basically are looking at the next petrol bunk or wherever you find petrol, and then off you go.
We don't run into a panic, do we? Unless you're on highway, and then you should have thought about it. You should have got some extra fuel, right? And just take responsibility for whatever it is, and that's how it is.
This looks very, very interesting, and I think for my listeners,
Oh, yes. It
so
is.
I have maybe, you know, like a lot of questions, but one thing that's really bubbling up to the surface is what's been one, at least one that you would like to share as a moment that you'll always like to remember over the last 30 years of Reiki? One is too tough, I know.
What do I say? Every day is good morning, sunshine. What do we have? So there have been so many breakdowns in my life, health-wise, wealth-wise, relationship-wise, and I don't know if I can pinpoint anything because the resilience doesn't give you that much of time to actually, we do touch rock bottom and then we come up. So I'm not saying that I'm devoid of any, but in fact, I've had so many more breakdowns than normal people would. And relationship-wise also, yes, there's been a lot of betrayal. That has run my life for quite a while. And I think if it weren't for Reiki, I wouldn't be as, should I say, what it gave to me was compassion. What it gave to me, left with me was integrity. What it left with me was total transparency, total transparency. So when trust is broken, you have a choice. Either you go down with that break or you come up being even more, not only trustworthy, but even more trusting of people. Because you've gone through the worst. It couldn't get worse than that. So that's something, yes, the betrayal that happened in my relationship, maybe the closest, most intimate relationship, has uh, given me this. And I think gratitude has worked there, and which is why I don't start any of my days or anything important that I do, any important work, the respect that everybody needs to get. Life itself needs to be, respected, and the only way you can express respect to the universe is by gratitude.
Absolutely.
So yes.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being vulnerable to share that. And maybe, you mentioned in passing that, you do Reiki for cancer patients and also those caregivers that work with them. Uh, Maybe just share a little bit more about what happens there.
Uh, it's not so much the word anymore. Initially, cancer meant, was a big trigger for a lot of people. I think science has evolved, and coaches like you, are holding the space. How Reiki works is that, firstly, what we have seen, in stages, is that one tends to make peace with the situation a little bit faster than otherwise. The willpower, what we call one of the chakras, which is addressing willpower, groundedness, the sacral chakra, that once it is activated, there is much more, let me call it inner strength for the lack of a better word. So willpower is something that we generally use, but I would like to go deeper because I believe that my audience is very, very intelligent and sensitive. We call it inner strength, Atma Shakti. To be able to accept what is and then move to what would I do now, instead of wallowing. So instead of wallowing with the action of somebody else, be it betrayal or be it break of trust, instead of wallowing, it's like you accept, okay, now this is it, now you address it. So acceptance and addressing without the, okay, give yourself a morning time as well. But then you know that you need to move to the next step without sinking completely down, that nobody can sort of pull you out, that you go totally off the radar. So acceptance comes in, willpower, Atma Shakti is built up. A little bit, I would also say, because I've actually given cancer patients as they were transiting, and what was reported at that time, what I saw and what I sensed, was that pain was also alleviated and the transition is smooth, letting go, or what we call shedding of the physical body. So it is a help for the dying, as they say.
So when you said inner strength, I remembered something that you told in our previous conversation. Mind is a mystical tool.
Yes, and so powerful, no? So
Absolutely.
powerful. It can create
Absolutely.
anything for you, and it can
So,
destroy anything for you.
yeah. I think in terms of our mind, what can we do, what can we not do? Sometimes when we are so aligned to a purpose, to a space, to an energy, and in terms of the antenna that you said, a lot of things just simply happen. And again,
Yes.
acceptance phase, and then more in terms of my experience as a coach is, I think when the coachee accepts, then that's when we can actually
Yes.
accept what next.
Then there is a possibility that comes out of it. So your coach has to bring about that acceptance so that they see the possibility.
Absolutely.
And then the choices we make, of course, are very personal, very individual, and very, you could say, in a way, destiny driven. But we do our best to bring it to light, so that their gifts and talents can then be, they get busy discovering their gifts and talents, and then the alignment really takes on, because what is naturally coming to them when they start to practice, be it painting, drawing, music, whatever, mimicry or dancing or playing some game. Many of the seekers I found, my soul tribe, they've touched about talents which they never thought they had in them. So we are so, we have got everything. If diseases can be hereditary, why can't talents be? Is the point is, can we look that side, Can we just look there? Those 180 windows that are opening, we coaches, all we do is just make them look into a certain direction, whereas they've been banging their head on a door which might have closed. So we're just holding the space, and this is so beautiful, Sunil. This is my favorite topic: human nature, human mind, and
Absolutely. Mm.
and the respect for life, and the respect for
No,
life. Yes.
absolutely. I think somewhere out there when you shared that space around, how life is, how the whole space, how the universe works, how that seed comes, how a tiny seed can actually have a potential for a huge forest. It grows the same. I was reminded of this dialogue from Kung Fu Panda, the Master Ugwe. Whatever you wish
Master.
for, you can always get a peach tree. You can wish for an apple tree, mango tree, but then you will always get what is there, what you've sown. A very
Yes.
thought process.
Yes. Yes. Very zen and very beautiful. Yeah. Very profound. Zen
Very
philosophy is very profound. Yes. So meditations are not about all the time sitting in one place and closing your eyes and focusing. It's about every activity you do. If you do it wholeheartedly, mindfully, it is a meditation. That is what it is. Yeah.
absolutely. I think
Where you put
when
in all the five sense
that's
organs are involved in a certain procedure or in a certain activity, then it's a meditation. That's all. Yeah.
yes, somebody like I felt that when I'm done writing. So when I'm writing, I think I'm on a different plane. I think things like the outside world are not really adding to anything. So that the internal takes off. And sometimes when I see people cooking, they're so into it. It's like they're in a different
Yes.
space. They're radiating a different energy and aura.
Oh, yes, yes. You can
It's
actually see the aura, it's glowing.
yes.
And then we start
And
to study. We are waiting for that food to come on our
yes,
plates.
yes, yes. Waiting for that food, and the food tastes actually very different. The aroma, the delicacy, the flavor. There's so many things that change when somebody is in that state and they've actually done something. Uh,
Yes, yes. So they say food and water stores information and stores emotions. So whatever you put into it is what you're going to be eating.
yes, 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 yes. So there is maybe just another 10 more minutes for us in the podcast. Time has flown, and I also wanted to touch upon a few things in terms of your experience, say pre-race coming to your life. That's where Miss Bangalore space. I think also was something that was curious. I was curious about that space.
Actually, that wasn't okay. Maybe it all, the sum total is what I'm doing now. But that was something my mother wanted me to do is apply and get in. And then I don't know. You see, the thing is that it was about the final question that was asked that took the edge. Otherwise, they're very lovely young ladies that were there, and I think ultimately it's about your intelligence quotient, your quick-wittedness, and I noticed, not to really, I will accept it, not brag about it, but I will accept that ultimately how subtle is your thinking, how you can grasp and connect with people. So that particular sachet award, whatever you want to call it, actually got me to believe that there is a possibility of connecting with people through expression, through communication. And that's when I realized how important it is to communicate. The judge asked a question. I gave a reply. The judge asked 3, 4, 8, 10, whoever the finalist was. And they also mentioned it was the answer to this that took that 2 points. You know, you get that 1.2 points more than so and so, the runner up and the second runner up, whatever. So these were all actually my life's experiences. The other thing that brought me into this field was ultimately, I'm sure it drove me to this field, was that whenever somebody got sick in the house, be it my grandmother, my later when I got married, my father-in-law, my mother, my everybody, they would just ask for me to come and sit next to them and hold their hand. And as a young person, as a teenager, as a newly married daughter-in-law, I mean, it used to be the most boring thing to do. Why would you ask me to come and just hold your hand? I've got so many other things to do, you know, either in the kitchen or then later it was taking care of little people, little to my children born within, you know, after a year of my marriage, my firstborn. And here is my father-in-law saying, Rashmi, just come and hold my hand. Or if I'm eating, you bring the food from the kitchen. Whenever he had a heart attack, or he was a very well-known doctor, cardiologist. But it is so. That's how it is. I mean, he had two bypasses, and before both of them, he insisted that I come and sit next to him. He used to fly me down from Bangalore to our hometown. There was this calling somehow. There was this calling. And I didn't pay heed to it because I just thought that I was being loved, or, you know, I took it more in that way that, wow, you know, it's so nice to be loved. And here I was the one saying no, no, no. But yeah, the passing on of my father was the game changer in my life. I never expected to lose him so soon. Whenever it was, it's always too soon, right? I was 31 at that time. I started Reiki at 32. Took it on after a year.
So in your 30s,
so I think these are, you know, if you look back in hindsight, these are all pointers, how the universe keeps, you know. And then I did get married, and my husband didn't approve of me doing any modeling, and which is again such a good thing for me, because if not, I think life would have been something else, and maybe, you know, this lifetime wouldn't have. I wouldn't be doing my purpose in this lifetime. Of course, we do know that we have several more. So maybe in the next one I would have fulfilled, but I'm very happy that I can at least start off in this lifetime. And that I'm meeting you still. How would I meet lovely people like you if it wasn't for this?
Absolutely, yeah. And I completely resonate with that. Sometimes it comes to you, and then after some point you have something that says, "This is my path," and after that, everything else aligns to it, and you feel that
Yes.
where it should be. And you meet.
And it's always gratitude. Thank you for not letting me do this. Thank you for letting me do this. Thank you for the awards. Thank you for the breakdowns. Thank you for everything. Because this is who I am. And this is for that. And my soul has grown because of that.
So you're back on the gratitude list.
I'm back on gratitude always. Shukrana.
Yes. Been
Yes.
wonderful chatting with you. So maybe one final question. So I had two questions. One was, how was Bangalore back then, you know, in your early childhood, to now
Oh, wow.
Bangalore? And the second question, whichever you want, you can choose. Or maybe you can answer both of them in the 4 minutes that you have. What's the legacy, or what's the message that you want to leave the audience with?
I think I'll choose the message I want to leave with the audience is start to maintain 2 journals, called one the gratitude journal, the other one the goals journal. It's very important to have a vision in life. Goals could be, you know, doable ones, something that you really can you want really to happen in your life, and list down at least 4 or 5 steps. Do not think of climbing see the entire length of the stairway. Climb, take one step at a time, and write down those 5 steps that you will take. So a goals journal and a gratitude journal. Before you sleep every single night, at least 10 things that you would be grateful for during the day, which includes, for me, is that my bed yanked me out in the morning. And I actually saw sunshine, because as we speak, there are thousands of people who will not see sunshine tomorrow. So starting from there, 10 things that you're grateful for at the end of the day. And once a week, once in 15 days, visit your goals journal and see what are the steps you've taken, what are the ones that you need to, and practice some kind of spiritual work. Do and undertake an inner journey, because that's where all the gyan, all the power, all the knowledge, all the love, there is this well of everything. You need to, that nectar is within you. Definitely do take a dip into this nectar before you shed your physical body. Otherwise, your nature is not going to be very pleased with this kind of shedding, which is going away, absolutely coming like a mushroom and going away as a mushroom. So leave a legacy, leave something for people to remember you with, not with just putting your photograph and putting a mala every day. That's something that will help people to celebrate their own lives and your life. So these two journals is something I will leave you with. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So thank you for coming on board. I have still so many questions. Bangalore, talking with animals,
Yeah.
the other experiences that you've had with Reiki, and how people can get in touch with you, and what is that you do when you're coming back to Bangalore. There are many questions that I have. I think I'll leave that for another podcast, another episode.
Yes.
It's been fun.
Your series.
Absolutely amazing.
Okay. Wonderful. Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
and have a nice
With
day and
you.
continue to inspire.
I will. I promise I will. And thank you so much for this opportunity to serve.
Absolutely.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much. Bye bye. Take care.
Signing off. R Dharma.
Thank you.